So we're here with Dustin. So Dustin, talk to us a bit about the interior design, specifically the interplay of appliances, the gooseneck faucets, the cabinets. How does all of this come together? And more importantly, why does this come together like the way this is?
Okay, well, I can go right off the bat. I can talk about the appliances. Now we go all stainless steel appliances, but the thing that jumps out the most is the stove. So the stove with the cafe style with the knobs on the front and the sleek is very modern. It's very high end looking. Now we've been able to buy these in bulk, so this doesn't really cost that much. Now a lot of people request water in the fridge, like they think that's a really high end option, and it is, but the amount of issues we have and the amount of risk that we take on by having an additional appliance with water to it and flooding is not worth that tiny little bit of upgraded feel. So that's an example of somewhere where we don't upgrade because of the maintenance costs and the technical aspect. Gooseneck faucet, this is awesome because it's just one lever, right? It's all single, it's easy. This is how people want to live. You don't have a bunch of extra stuff. It's very simple, very plain. So we can buy a high-end faucet like this. It's a single faucet versus buying a faucet with two knobs and an extra sprayer. It's almost the same price. Plus this will last actually a little bit longer. The plumber uses, I don't know what they use, but it's like a 10,000 turn or 100,000 turn cartridge. So we don't have any issues maintenance-wise going forward. Yeah. So if we used say a Delta faucet, their cartridges aren't as good because on the low end, they put in a cheaper cartridge. Yeah. These are a contractor grade faucet to duplicate the look of Delta or Kohler, but they have way higher internal parts. And so that also is a maintenance thing.
So just hold on. So that's a technical aspect that the layperson or just the regular syndicator might not actually get.
No.
Even the investor is probably not going to get it. If you're not in the business, you don't do this for a living, you might be swayed by the slightly cheaper cost, and then realize if you pay, the whole saying, right? You pay peanuts, you get monkeys.
Yep.
That thing might start happening.
Right, and then if you're going to do a flip, if you're putting lipstick on a pig to flip it in a year, you're going to be fine. But we want to keep these for years, so we want to make sure these are good for minimum 10 years. And then also the other thing is the design of the kitchen. So what a lot of people do, instead of having this modern kitchen with the island, they would say, oh, a standard designer that doesn't actually rent a lot of these apartments and doesn't really interact with their tenants would say, hey, this feels small. This space feels small. Let's do an L-shaped kitchen, boop, all the way around to here, and then they can have their dining room table here. Well, the problem with that is an L-shaped kitchen is actually much more inefficient. So it looks like you get a big kitchen, but you have very limited counter or cabinet space and counter space. So we've got much bigger counter space and more cabinet space. We just eliminate the dining room table. So it's mainly a fear. So a lot of people operate out of a fear. So they design out of a fear that it's going to be too small. So they don't want this in here because this takes up too much space and they'd rather have a dining room table. And so we're basically debunking all that.
As you can see, we're in the room here, the bedroom. And the great thing about this is the awesome windows we have over here. So Dustin, why don't you tell us, why do people love it? I know why I like it, but why do you think people love it? But also tell us, how did you get to this stage of, maybe you weren't here at the start, right?
Yeah.
And how many iterations before you got to this model?
Well, we started implementing corner windows in some of our houses and people really, really liked them, but they were very expensive. So we figured, how can we do a feel of a corner window without it being an actual corner window? And we figured this is the way we split it, did floor to ceiling windows. And just like this is, your view is going to be unadulterated like this for forever. This is your view. You're going to have some, across the street you'll have some stuff, but you have an open view. You're not just staring directly into something. And so this is just a wow factor. You come in your bedroom, you have all this view. But then when you drop these shades down, you still have tons of light. So people are like, well, why do you have all those windows when you're just going to cover them up all the time? Well, it's a huge ambiance with the light flowing through the filtered shade. So you still get lots and lots of light even though you have the privacy.
Another great feature about this room, which speaks to the thoughtful design, and not just say, frou-frou features like I put a window, because this is part of an overall design philosophy that Dustin had, right? So we've got this ample storage space over here. In fact, So you can see the doors taken away. What does it do? It opens up the room. When it opens up the room, visually you feel that the same space just has visually just more square footage. Now you've got ample amount of storage. Look at this. So much storage that if you run out of storage here, I mean, you guys, you have a severe shopping problem. But this all speaks to this, right? Because you can have all of this stuff over here. If you put a traditional door over here, the whole ambiance, the whole vibe, the whole design of the room just goes off. And this is why solid, powerful design that's well thought out with an experienced person that's done this multiple times before over many iterations is important, because a lot of times investors are just looking at the end result. They haven't seen the 10 or 20 years of evolution of, taking all the losses and some of the wins that led up to this point. So this is why working with an experienced development team is very important, because it's not just this product, it's the years and decades of experience that they bring into this final product that really helps your investment grow and the product that we're building out shine.